Hello, I am Dr. Mari Martiskainen, and I'm a Senior Research Fellow at the University of Sussex at the Science Policy Research Unit based at the University of Sussex Business School. We know that for quite a few years now there's been a huge increasing interest in climate change and particularly taking action against the lack of political will to deal with climate change. So I did a piece of research looking at particularly those who take part in climate protesting and climate striking. So in 2019, myself and a few colleagues collected data with climate protesters across the world. So we interviewed people protesting here in Brighton in the UK, in London in the UK, in two cities in the US, including New York and New Haven, in Montreal in Canada, and then Stavanger in Norway. And we interviewed a total of 64 protesters and asked them questions like, why are you here today taking part in this global climate strike? What's motivating you? What do you want to see changing? And we found out that people had very varied motivations of why they wanted to take part in a protest. And the main ones of those really were, obviously, first of all, wanting to save the planet and to do something in terms of dealing with climate change and tackling the environmental impact of climate change. But people were also motivated by taking part in action in order to influence policy and also to protect future generations. And more importantly, it was also one motivating factor that people really wanted to take part in a movement. We also found different types of protesters. So there were protesters that we called these sort of really committed, engaging protesters who basically will take part in every single climate change strike there is and every single opportunity there is to protest. So we had the very active protesters. We also identified people that were sort of parallel protesting. So they came along to a climate protest because they were also having other issues that they wanted to highlight, such as other human rights, for example. We also found out that there were protesters that were slightly disengaged, and they mainly came along because they wanted to, for example, impress a girlfriend. So really the research showed that people have very varying motivations in terms of why they take part in a protest. They come for different reasons on the day, and their subsequent action also varies. A lot of people said that they had changed their lifestyles in terms of reducing the amount of meat they eat or the amount of flying that they do. We also asked people about their emotions and what they feel about climate change and what they particularly felt on the strike day. And half of our respondents said that they had a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety about climate change. There was a lot of sadness also and quite a lot of anger. But equally, which was quite surprising to us as researchers, was that a lot of these climate strikers had hope. And they had particularly hope in terms of taking part in a protest together with other people, being part of a movement, and feeling that actually the action that I am taking today is actually going to make a difference because I'm part of a bigger movement, and it's not just a single human being. So this was a piece of research that we did, and it's now published in the journal Global Environmental Change. Thank you.